Our house feels haunted.
Coming up on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City after show.
I met with yesterday, Gwen's grandmother. They're like, could you please talk to his parents and let them know, like, Gwen would be open to meeting them.
Lisa and I feel differently about how that happened.
Jared keeps sliding into my DMs.
Who is Jared not hitting on in DMs?
Did he send a photo?
He's just having some health problems.
Oh, sorry, Lisa.
Jack stayed home for 3 weeks and then was able to go back to Columbia, and I flew him home Delta One.
Of course you did. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City after show starts now. So I don't even know if you know how this all happened, but on the way home from Milwaukee, Lisa and I were talking at the airport, and she said, you looked so much like Gwen when you made that face. And I said, nobody would ever think that if they knew what Gwen's dad looks like. She's a twin of him.
For all the years I've known Bronwyn, I had an idea of what Gwen's dad was like based on what she said, but I never asked her what his name was. And then she's like, you want to see a picture? And I said, yeah, I want to see a picture.
I have one photo of him from his obituary, and I showed Lisa, and it's not something I ever do. I don't talk about him in any way. And she just totally like went white.
And I said, oh my God, I know him. And then I started naming his siblings and his parents' names.
I didn't know that that was a nightmare for me until she said it, and then I lost all feeling in my body. And it's been long enough now that I want to make a joke and cover it, but it was very awkward and uncomfortable for me. Gwen has never met them. She's never met anybody on that side of the family at all, and they've never expressed an interest, and I go back and forth. Obviously, I'm very protective of Gwen, and anybody who's not interested in her can kind of jump up my ass and die, to put it bluntly. And then I have days where I think maybe I should have done more to foster it. Maybe I should have made it easier for them, or maybe I should have continued to try on her behalf. Like, as a parent, you always want what's best for your kids, even if it's not best for you. So I went home and told Todd first. I think I texted him from the plane, which is maybe something I should change. I like to text Todd when something's intense, and Todd likes to talk about it in person. I should not text him something and then get on a plane and not respond for hours. But Todd was against this immediately. He wanted it shut down right away.
You know how I feel about all of it, so I'm done.
Can I step in and validate
please.
Todd? Because if Lisa didn't even know that that was Gwen's biological family, then she should probably not make it about herself.
When my friend's son passed away, I just remember, like, every time I would run into his mom, I would just have like an overwhelming feeling of like prayer for her and like sadness that she lost her son. So for me, it was like, this is unreal, but I wouldn't say anything to them because I'm like, this is like such a touchy situation. The next day, I get a text from Bronwyn and Gwen, and they're like, could you please talk to his parents and let them know, like, Gwen would be open to meeting them.
Lisa and I feel differently about how that happened. Lisa told me she knew them, and Lisa kept telling me how wonderful they were and that she was convinced that they would want to have met Gwen. And I was, and will always be convinced that they are not interested in meeting Gwen. So I don't know that I gave her permission to offer, but I made it very clear that she could if the moment was right.
I just remember getting in the car to like go meet Gwen's grandmother, and I got pulled over by a policeman, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's kismet, it's fate, I'm not supposed to go. And then he didn't give me a ticket, and then I was like, okay, maybe I'm meant to go. And then I had a long conversation with Gwen's grandmother, and she's like, we're open to meeting her, we're excited, show me pictures. They're not like really into social media, so they didn't even know where they could find either one of them. She really didn't know anything, and she's like, the last we were told, you know, Bronwyn had a miscarriage and there was no child. And then her son, who passed away, his wife, reached out to Bronwyn, and she's like, but we never got to meet Gwen, so it was like really upsetting for them. I think overwhelming for Bronwyn and Gwen. Wow. So I like treaded really lightly. I feel like for Bronwyn, like she had an experience as a 19-year-old that like I probably would have similar thought processes to like what was going on, how people felt about me. I don't know if those are accurate, but those are her real feelings. And I think it kind of opened up Pandora's box of emotions.
I'm having a hard time, Lisa. I'm having a hard time reconciling this wonderful family that you know with the family that has not made time in 18 years to ever get to know my child.
In the moments that I miss my friendship with Lisa, I miss that part of Lisa that always believes everything's gonna be fine. Like, I think she went into meeting them being like, they are gonna love Gwen, and there's just this misunderstanding with Bronwyn. And I like that Lisa feels that way. When she loves somebody, she really loves them. And she loves this couple. I would love to know what it is she loves about them, because I don't. It went very left very quickly once that communication started, and then it went really left for Lisa and I.
What did Todd just say to you?
He just said Bronwyn's real upset and he wants us to go.
I think she couldn't see maybe fairly the different points of view.
Mary called me and was like, guess who just slid into my DMs?
I don't know all the guys that Brittany are dating, but I do know that Jared keeps sliding into my DMs.
Who is Jared not hitting on in DMs?
Did he send a photo
A photo?
of himself?
No.
Oh.
Who said that?
Does it feel like he's like, Mary, come on over here, girl, like that?
No.
Oh, okay.
From my memory, he called her dear friend, told her she's beautiful. And I think, yeah, Mary liked that. And he, you know, that
Okay.
it probably made her feel good.
Wow.
This is embarrassing.
You know what? He just barely started following me last week, so he was really into you. I mean, he came into my house
Angie.
and still didn't follow me. It's true. It sounds like he was sliding his way in there.
Apparently, they had a moment
my
after we
gosh.
left the mafia party. They sat and had a moment on the couch, said a prayer. I don't know.
He probably did this to her.
He probably did. He
Do
probably.
you feel like he's like fascinated with you?
I don't think about it like that. Like, I don't know what he's doing. I'm out of shape when it comes to like guys
Yeah.
and men and if they're hitting on me. My son's like, Mom, you still got it. And I was like,
You
no, I
do.
don't.
You do.
No, I do not.
Mary?
He follows me and he's always active on my page, even to this day. So I think when I prayed, I feel like he came up to me. He's like, I felt it. You're a woman of God. And I felt it. And I was like, okay, well, where's Brittany?
He wanted to be at my house. He wanted to come to our event.
He just loves you, though. He just
Angie,
really
stop.
took to you.
Be quiet.
So I think Jared was just looking for any in to the group.
Jared's just
If Brittany
dying to
wasn't
hold that
getting
little
it done,
snowflake.
he was, yeah, he wanted to be around.
know.
And he found his way through Mary's heart.
She likes a compliment.
Yeah, a compliment. It's the Osmond family.
I do not understand. I didn't grow up here. I don't understand the Osmond lure.
It's not really anything to do with the nieces, nephews, second cousins. It's Donnie and Marie.
Okay.
And my dad did their hair.
Okay. But like if Donnie Marie came in right now, would you be wowed by that?
No, I've met them before.
Okay.
Okay. When I was little.
Is he handsome to you?
Well, I mean, he's
Yes or no? Yes or no?
he's not my type, but he's
Same.
handsome. Yeah. He's not my type,
So it's
but he's
kind of
handsome.
awkward. It's not like a.
He's fun. He's fun and funny. And he's cute. But he's not my, I mean, if he slid in my DMs, I'd probably leave him on red. I don't know.
Okay, so we have tons of land for being in Salt Lake. We're downtown, basically. So we have 8 acres.
You have 8
I have
acres?
8 acres, yeah, which was a big draw for me.
That's
I
a
have
lot,
all the
yeah.
dogs, and I've been campaigning for llamas for years.
What's your
so-
thing with llamas? I've noticed
I
you
just think
always
they're
have them.
funny. I love them. They're like big dogs. Todd is gonna come home one day and they'll be like, nagging works at my house. I nagged him into this llama, and then finally one day he was like, just go buy the llama. Like, it's over, just do it. And when I called, she said, you have to have 3. And I said, so I just texted him. I said, so we're getting 3, but it's like a great deal. And he was like, no, definitely not 3. So I've been talking about it for another year. And one day he'll come home. Yeah, I do that all the time. He came home and I painted the entire office in my house pink. Not me personally, I'd hired someone to do it. Yeah, he was pretty upset about that, but.
I love it.
So now it's my office, not Todd's. So
Well,
yeah,
if
he's gonna come home to
if
llamas
he's
one
buying
day.
Angie's house, you get the llamas.
Before she listed it, Sean called Todd and said, I know you thought our house was so cool. Do you want to come look at it? And I think Todd might move in there by himself. He can have Angie's house with no llamas, exactly. So I love how much space we have, and our house feels haunted. Everyone always says my house is haunted.
What are these nuts?
And I think they're friendly ghosts, so I'm into it. I think the ghosts live in the basement, which until my closet is done being built is where all my clothes are. So I have bonded with the ghosts in the basement through fashion, so I like the haunted aspect of it. I don't know, it's just this weird, quirky, old, I love a project, and it's definitely a project.
Is it modern? So I've only seen the outside from the episode.
Yeah, so it was built in the 60s, and it's all concrete, which is very bizarre. There's hardly any Wi-Fi in the house. We have to have Wi-Fi in every room. But it's been through its whole evolution. So a guy who built grocery store chains built it, so it was built like an industrial building, and then he donated it to the Catholic Church. And I don't know anything about the Catholic Church, but I think he's the Monsignor that is the main guy. So he lived there. So there's some like relics from when it was a religious home, which freaks me out a little tiny bit. And then
you may not be wrong about the spirits.
Yeah, it's a little haunted. And then this kind of fabulous older gay guy bought it, and he started to remodel it. So there's all these layers underneath what I'm putting in there. So it's odd. Yeah, I don't know, it's for everybody. It's not really even for Todd, but I love it.
Let's get a update on Jack. How's his health?
He refused to come home.
He's just having some health problems.
Oh, sorry, Lisa.
You can make exceptions with like health issues to all those rules.
would have
no problem. It's Jack.
He had something else happen where we're like, you need to come home. And he's like, well, I don't want to leave my mission and not be able to go back. So he wrote his mission president and got us all on a Zoom and said, I won't go home unless you put it in writing that I can come back. And you have to have like whoever you need with the church on the call, the Zoom, so that everyone hears it and it's okay.
He's a smart kid. He's a businessman.
Oh, he's such a businessman.
Wow.
And
I'm
so
impressed.
it was fun because we solamente hablan en español. And John was
That's so
laughing.
cute.
John's Spanish is really good. And Jack came home. They did everything they needed to do. Jack stayed home for 3 weeks and then was able to go back to Colombia. And I flew him home Delta One.
Of course you did.
I've been flown coach since I was in college.
Because I was like, my poor baby. And
Oh, that's so
yeah,
cute.
and he brought me gifts from Colombia. He loves Colombia and is obsessed with the people, the culture, the church down there. Like he's teaching people that you are like ex-members of the cartel.
Whoa.
And he's like, Mom, it is like so crazy cool how people want redemption. When he got back, he got a new mission president. And the mission president doesn't know who we are, me, John, Jack, or Henry, like nothing about us. And he had like a zone conference where all the missionaries come. There's like, you know, I don't even know how many, like 800. And they all go. And Jack became AP.
He did?
Yeah, which I was like,
on his
"Ooh, do you-"
merits alone.
Yeah,
On
and I was
his-
like, ooh, do you want that job? And he's
No,
like,
he does.
I'm like, don't you want to be out? But
It's like CEO.
Yeah, so
he just
Jack
got made CEO of 800
it's crazy,
guys.
and he loves it. So now that his like health has been cleared, he flies all over Bogota on like these little tiny planes. They like fly from city to city and do zone conferences. They do education, and he still does service. And like his new mission president, he wrote John and I like the sweetest letter, but I won't tell Jack what's in it until he gets home.
Oh, that's cute.
His head would get too big. But he's like loving his mission, and he doesn't have much longer left.
Has it
and he's
gone by
home.
slow or fast?
Fast.
Has it really? That's
Oh my gosh,
good.
it flies by because you
Yeah.
get to talk once a week.
That's
like
so true.
When
It's so different now.
Yeah, when my sister went,
really
it was
nice.
like we heard from her on Christmas, and we
Twice a year.
Yeah, and like she
Mother's
wrote
Day,
letters,
Christmas, yeah.
but you're like, oh, she's just gone, you know.
Yeah. It's so
But-
nice. It's good for kids' mental health too.
Yeah,
To be
and-
able to talk to their parents and people once a week.
Oh,
and
yeah.
to be on Facebook and communicate.
I
with
know,
them.
it's like crazy. It's
Send them
very
Amazon packages.
Yeah, it's very different. Like I love sending him packages. I more than not put money in his account, and he has an Amex, but has a limit of $1,500.
And Michelin star restaurants.
I'm at the finest dining establishment in all of Colombia. Yeah, look at that. Ooh.
Oh my gosh, it looks so good. He's like, the
So
food's amazing.
cute.
But he hasn't lost his style, his love of music.
Yeah.
When he flew home, he made friends with like a huge producer in music. And it's someone I actually knew. And he's like,
my
hey, I think I
gosh.
know your mom. But Jack's like, that's why it's important to travel well. You make better connections.
Yes, exactly.